Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Lane Yappers. Today we're going to be recapping the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm Lex.
I'm Mox.
I'm Rosie.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Tay.
Reagan's at the Foo Fighters.
Reagan's going to
She's
see
not
Foo Fighters.
here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
She is
Foo
surrounded
Fighters.
by car merch, though.
Yeah, so she's here in spirit. The bear can be Reagan.
Also, before we get into the race, can I just say happy 14 years of One Direction?
Woo!
Happy 4 years of folklore. Taylor's worldwide. Good day for you.
Back to Formula One.
Before we get into like the whole weekend, there's some news.
There was
No.
news.
No.
Kevin Magnussen is officially leaving Haas at the end of the
news,
year.
thank
Yes.
God.
Well, there's
and-
also some other news.
There's-
And I
yeah.
smiled.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about the news that happened today? I don't need to be reminded of that man.
Neither
Well-
do I.
Well,
Somebody's
Okay.
back with Audi. You can look it up. Thank you. Next. Okay.
Beaker, as I call him. Reagan, please edit in a picture of Beaker and then Bonotto next to each other. Please, thank you.
The name who shall not be named has been named.
Sorry.
Voldemort.
Mattia Pinotto. No,
You know,
okay, but
everybody,
that
I've been on
lore
my
was kind of-
Audi Seb to Audi track. Never mind.
No. Roll it
Never
back.
mind.
Carlos Sainz,
Yeah.
turn
Also,
around,
Mick Schumacher.
run away.
Stay,
Everybody
stay
leave.
in WEC.
You know who he should get? Get the husbands. I don't care. Sign Magnussen another year.
The fact that I feel like he might be going to Audi.
That'd be really funny
They're
to get the
gonna
hospitals
show
turned
up.
into the Audis.
They're gonna show up the first day and be like, you motherfucker.
Like, you!
The lore going into that, him coming back was a little insane. I had read an article before, because Andreas, who was previously McLaren TP, now CEO of Sauber, was fighting with
Mhm.
another higher executive in Sauber, and they
Mhm.
wanted to get each other out. They were both working to get each other out, and then
both
they
gone.
both leave. and Benotto
Yeah.
comes in,
He said, I heard
which
there's
is a
an
little
opening.
crazy.
The way that
I'm wondering how his best friend and wine tasting buddy
What the-
Gunther Steiner is feeling about this.
You know he's bringing Gunther on.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Gunther's
You
gonna
know
be
he's
back.
bringing him on.
He's gonna be
Which,
back some way somehow.
Nico
you know,
Hulkenberg's
to be
gonna
honest,
cry.
To be
Kevin
completely
Magnussen's
honest,
gonna kill himself.
can
Or
I
it's
just
just
tell
the-
you right now that if I get, and we're on the pit wall this weekend with Matteo Benito or Gunther Steiner, I'm gonna lose my mind. All right. FP1,
We had melting cars.
Yeah.
likely.
I
With how this season is going,
It was the
likely.
Sauber and the Williams, likely.
I was at work and I just get notifications of people going, the cars are melting. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean
Yeah.
the cars are melting? They're not supposed to do that.
Rosie
The cars
texted
were
in the
melting.
group chat, Joe's car has melted. And I was like, I was at work and I was like, melted? Do you mean like
Mhm.
fully like to liquid melted? Do you mean like melted, they've melted together? I was so confused. I was like, what is happening? And I was at working out, so F1's cars are melting all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
I
one of
didn't
my
think
coworkers
Hungary
went,
was
yeah,
that
because
hot."
isn't it plastic?
I know.
I was
I
like,
don't. I didn't
didn't
realize
think-
that it was that hot either. But they were like,
I
oh
think
yeah,
it
the
was the
welding is like
track.
melting off of, and so parts were flying off the cars. They had to like re-weld them on. I was like,
I think-
that's great.
When I was looking on like the F1 app, the track was super hot. I
Yeah.
don't think the temperature was really hot. I think the track was hot.
Yeah.
And it was radiating heat off, which is
Mhm.
why it melted the
were
cars.
going kaput.
I'm saying the
Always-
cars as
always
if it's more than
Joe's.
two.
It's always fucking Joe's car. If something is gonna happen,
It's Murphy's
if
Law, but with
something
Joe.
is, yeah, if something's gonna fly off, if something's gonna break, if something's gonna melt, it's gonna be Joe's car first.
And then they're like, Joe has to show us some results. But like, I don't understand why they're expecting results from Joe when his car is melting. Also, I will also say, like, they're expecting like some miracle results as if Valtteri Bottas has been Max Verstappen this weekend. Like,
No, literally.
sorry,
The entire,
it's
the entire
you're not
season.
Checo Perez. It's the same exact type of results. You're getting the same results from both
Mhm.
players. players,
Yeah,
drivers,
they're literally doing like 18 and 20th every weekend. So like,
likely.
Like they seem
yeah,
seem
Checo.
good during practice, but then the minute quali and the race come about, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel bad, but like, yeah.
Well,
I don't know what they did. I don't know if it was a name change or if it was
I think it was a team change.
whatever
I think
It's
what
that
happened.
nasty looking
they're-
green.
I think they're
I
running out
actually
of
like the
budget.
green.
yeah, I
We're
like
not
the
the
green.
same. We're not the same.
I'm indifferent about the green. Some days I'm like,
like
it kind
green.
of slays, and then sometimes I see like the pit crew like in their full green, and I'm like, ugh.
I will
Yeah,
say
the
full
green
green's
is
a little.
bit much.
I
Yeah,
like
the
the
full
green on
green.
the car. I like the car livery.
Mm-hmm.
A little too boxy and angular for me.
So Ollie was in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Olé! And
yeah.
yet another
Wow.
FP1 session before he's in that seat full time.
The thing is,
Yeah.
I feel like Haas wants him in the car full time now.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, because neither driver of theirs is driving next year. So they want Ollie to be comfortable in an F1 car when they put him in the car.
He has 2 more sessions before the season ends, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like this was one of the last 3 that he's doing.
I feel like they're putting him on like the really most difficult tracks, the next 2. Like, I feel like they're going to put him maybe in Spa.
They're doing Abu Dhabi, and then I forget what the second to last one is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
It's
feel like they're putting him
after-
on the important tracks.
I forgot what the other one was.
And
It's
like,
after Coda, I
honestly,
think.
I'm kind of wondering, kind of going off what Mock said, like I wonder if when we come back from summer break, will Kevin Magnussen be here? Will Kevin Magnussen be with us? Because
I think they're going to
Yes.
keep him because he's chaotic and he gets Nico points because he does the most dangerous
Real.
things in the world and doesn't
Yeah.
care. And
Real.
Nico Hulkenberg gets points because of it.
Yeah.
real. I'm only thinking because like yes, Ollie got 20th. He placed 20th in FP1, but K-Mag got 19th.
K-Mag's
So, like-
not that good. Sorry.
I also think they just use Ollie in the FP1 to understand the car more
Mhm.
instead of focusing on where they
Times.
getting time set. I think they're more focused on learning the car with Ollie. So
Or
that
yeah,
way they're
making
fully
a car suitable for Ollie rather than
Mm-hmm.
but it
anyone
also
else.
it makes me wonder who they're gonna I mean, obviously it sounds like signs are pointing towards Ocon going to Haas. But it really makes me wonder like who they're going to put in that other seat with Ollie.
Yeah.
Who
The
do you
thing is
want
I
in
feel
the
like
other
they're
seat with Ollie?
people are saying they're going to bring up both like 2 rookies, but first of all, who else are they going to put in that car if it's a rookie?
That's a
Second of all,
mistake.
I feel like if you're bringing up a rookie that's never driven before, like if you brought somebody like Mick Schumacher who's only done a few seasons, or like somebody like that who's driven an F1 car, like Liam Lawson, bring him back or whatever, like I don't think he needs a very experienced driver. But I think if you're really just a rookie, like have never driven an F1 car a full season, has only done a few sessions, like I feel like you want an actual like experienced driver, which is why it's like, sorry, I laugh when they say Esteban Ocon because yes, he's a race winner, but I don't think he really is that
I'm like, did everyone
experienced.
watch that race?
Like, I don't think he's that
Really
experienced. as, like,
hungry.
He didn't like, yeah, he didn't like. I mean,
He's
he
not,
won
like,
the
the
race.
most,
Good for
like-
him, but like there were bad things
it's
that
all
happened
because of
during
Fernando
that race.
Alonso. Thank you. But anyways,
Like-
Fernando Alonso took one for the team.
Fernando,
You're welcome, Alpine. But
Fernando, Ocon, and Oscar have all won in Hungary. Maybe it's the Alpine curse.
Oh.
Blessing.
I'm gonna be honest, the Haas looks like they're doing better with their upgrades than the Ferrari right now. So, but yeah, Haas has tried the double rookie before.
And they've obviously also tried the double non-rookie before.
Yeah.
The double
And-
rookie was crazy.
Listen, no shade to Mick Schumacher. I love that kid.
All shade to
my-
the other one.
Oh my
shade
god,
to
that
the
other one.
all shade to the pay driver.
Yeah.
The
That's
real
trapped in his
pay
own country
driver.
I mean, okay, I will say though, Mick Schumacher was put in a car that was 100% not made
was
for
a
him.
bad car.
No.
And
That
it was a
a
bad
wasn't made for
car. First of all,
anybody.
it was a bad car. Second of all, it wasn't made for his driving style at all. They
No.
were like, just suck it up. And then they expected him to do miracles.
Yeah. And then when
So-
neither driver did well, they were like, "I'll get rid of both of them.
Yeah.
Bring the old guys back."
And Mercedes went, time out.
Yeah, they went, "Whoa."
Time out. I don't care if he doesn't drive the F1 car. Schumacher is a name.
They were like, "Put him in the sim and don't let him out."
Lock the doors.
Anyways, we have been talking about Haas. We should be talking about FP1. I have nothing really to say besides the car melted.
George and Yuki, a little impede, maybe
Innocent.
going
George
on
is
there.
innocent.
No, it was about Yuki.
I know. I'm just saying.
Oh.
For somebody who's a Yuki girl and not a George girl, George
You know
is
what
innocent.
happened during
George is
FP1?
always innocent.
Mox, I'm sorry you didn't bring this up, but the Aston Martins,
Yeah.
No. There's a reason-
Fernando's radio is ridiculous.
No. Can I just tell you? Aston Martin, I'm done. I'm fixing the car myself. Fly me to Silverstone. I'm coming to fix a car. Do I have any experience in a car building? No, but it seems that I could build a car better than you.
I think you could trial and
got
error the
one, I
car
got one.
enough where it can be progressed.
No,
more
okay,
than
the
what they've
reason
done.
why is because their wind tunnel is broken. They don't have like a real wind tunnel. And they can't fix it until 2026 because they've already gone through all the regulations and they can't fix it. So their wind tunnel is saying all these upgrades are really fast, but in reality, it's actually super slow.
You would
So
think.
why don't they just do the opposite of what the wind tunnel says?
Or like take into account the effects of the wind tunnels
That's
lacking.
I don't know. I don't
Put
know.
Put us in there.
They're next to Silverstone. Go drive it around the circuit.
They're literally not even next to Silverstone.
No,
They
they're
are
across
literally
the street.
across the street.
Literally, you get on the shuttle
They
and you're like,
could
"Oh,
get
this track,"
on-
and then you go, "Oh, Aston Martin."
You could get into the car and drive the car to the track.
Yeah,
Off-road experience.
not even. There's a
On-road
one-
experience.
yeah. It's one in out. They're right across from each other.
It's like one go round the roundabout. It's like the next
Roundabout.
episode.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, they asked Fernando, how's
Nope.
the car? He goes, good luck.
Good luck to Lance.
He said, stream
Can
good
I
luck,
just
babe,
tell
by
you-
Chapel Road.
Can I just tell you, the last time he was this sassy was Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferrari,
beard's
Are
coming
we
when-
gonna
back.
get the depression beard again?
The
no.
beard's coming back.
Oh, I want the beard, but at
Bring
what
the beard
cost?
back.
Oh.
Even though Joe's car was melting, he still got fifth.
Exactly. He was performing.
Okay, that was
Maybe
crazy
that's
because
his car was melting.
Yeah, exactly.
It
It,
was
melted off
taking
on
it
the
out
got
some
back.
weight.
lighter.
He was taking out some weight.
I will say that Rosie texted Joe's car is melting, and then I checked the results, and I went, wait a minute.
Like,
Does
Joe
she
is
mean
above-
cooking?
First of all, both McLarens, which was shocking to me because McLaren's supposed to be the fastest car on the track, and I was like, wait a minute. You tell me this tractor car? But I wasn't watching, so I didn't know what was going on with McLaren, but I was like, that's kind of... Joe heard the rumors that he was getting kicked out because he hasn't gotten results, and he went, well, watch me. Just melt my car, and I'm on it.
I
So
don't
every
know where the
time Daniel's
rumor...
mentioned for no reason at all.
Real. I don't know where the rumor started that McLaren has the fastest car this season, because if you look at, I don't know if anyone else watches the tech talks that F1 TV does, but I watch them every week. I really like them.
Unfortunately, my against the
You're
law.
like,
streams
unfortunately,
do
I
not
am
do that.
banned from that.
I don't know why, because my F1 TV worked perfectly in England. Anyways,
Yeah. Mine was also banned, so I don't know. It worked as soon as I got to Italy. I was like, that's crazy. But
Not on
they
Sky Sports
on the
Land,
straights they
England.
have the second slowest car.
Oh.
So like I don't
probably only second to Aston
Okay.
Martin because
know who was the last, but probably. In the
because
straights,
Alpine's
in the
faster
straights,
apparently.
Williams is the fastest.
I
Yeah.
love
Car.
that song.
So
That's
that's
why
like
Hungary-
crazy. That's why it's so funny when they're like, of course Oscar won. He was in the fastest car. And I'm like, he's not. He's
That's
literally
why
not.
that's also why
Actually not
Williams
the
did
fast
really
car.
well in Vegas last year for the
Yep,
Yeah.
because of that really long
Big
straight.
old
I
pig
know.
Yep.
straights.
Hell yeah.
Pig back.
But
Merca.
also we were just talking about Ferrari and how Haas's upgrades were better than Ferrari, but we did get a Ferrari
Ferrari
P1 and a
1.3.
P3.
For once.
And then Max P2.
Apparently, Red Bull also brought upgrades this race as well.
Didn't work
This weekend.
Anyways.
They did not work.
It was something on the
Max-
back, something on the sidebar
anyways,
or whatever. I
He
don't
was
know.
Max was going. Oi.
Everyone
That's for the race.
Had a weekend.
in
Sorry.
FP2, Checo was complaining about his brakes not working.
I forget which
Yeah.
session
Yeah.
it was, but Max. I think the first radio I heard from Max was the brakes aren't breaking. I'm
Or
like,
that was
well,
Max, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
an issue.
He went,
Well, you
"That's
know it's
bad."
an issue as well because both of them were complaining about their
Mhm.
brakes.
Also,
So-
like, people like when I was on Twitter, people were like, "Oh my gosh, Red Bull, fall of Red Bull," and I go, "Listen, the fall of Red Bull, I'm excited about. However, brakes not working is a big problem
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
it's
not only
dangerous.
could they hurt themselves, they can hurt another driver, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
We were all here for Car Too Hot.
Oh.
The start of the season. It's not
Yep.
fun, no matter what team. It's not
Leave
fun.
Car Too Hot out of this. I've stored that away in the deep abscess of my brain.
Couldn't be me. I
And
think
all of
about
a
it
sudden,
every weekend.
You say that, and my what is it?
That's so
my
Raven.
mind palace brings up that screen. My Car Too Hot.
But FP2, I was also at work and I looked at the things. I was like, here we go, Lando P1. Like it. I feel like
Leclerc in the
both
wall.
the McLaren
That was awful.
drivers. I feel like
They-
both of the McLaren drivers need at least one session to like get back on the, even if they've
I forgot
driven
I'm a
it.
race car
They're
driver,
like
my bad.
they're like, okay, I need to like remember this track a little bit, and then they remember it, and like, okay, locked in.
Mhm. They're like, oh shit, I forgot I was supposed to be driving. My bad. No, when they cut to Charles, that was so
Rosie's
like
side eye,
Rosie looks like that.
No,
that
that's
rat from the
awful.
theater.
No, because
Hold
they
on.
didn't say
Second.
what happened. They just all went, Leclerc! And then showed him like spinning into the wall at top speed and then
All
cut
I
away.
know-
And I was like,
All I know
Is
is
he
I was at
good?
work. All I know is Haley went, I don't care about George Russell. Charles is somewhere.
yeah. Yeah. Because no, they were showing George's lap, but then they were also like red flag. And I was like, George's lap doesn't fucking matter. It's a red flag. And they were
I
like, but
literally
George's
tuned
front
into the
wing and
live-
blah 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 blah. And I was like, Charles is in the motherfucking wall.
People
Wait,
on Twitter are
can I,
always so fast to like slate Charles for like crashing or whatever. They're always like so fast on it. They're like, oh, look, crash. I'm like, we don't even know if he's okay yet. And I'd like to see you get in the car. You do a lap
I
first.
do a lap perfectly.
That was not to butt in about
Clean,
IndyCar, but that was me
perfectly.
when
Put her in Monza.
when
She's winning,
Ferrucci-
actually.
Just
when-
don't give me any race guidelines of if I have to stay in the lines, I'm
No
winning.
track limits. No.
I'm winning Monza. The freaking turn. I just went boom.
Just going through.
I
It's
just
way
went
faster if you
straight
don't
through.
do the
Yeah.
if you don't do the chicane. It's so much faster.
Track limits be damned.
Kind of pulled a Arthur Leclerc there, but it's fine.
Yeah. But not to butt in about IndyCar, but that was me when Ferrucci flipped over Pato. I was like,
Pato?
nobody move. And then they were like, he got out of the car. I was like, ha!
Oh my god, I
Idiot.
saw that
Can I,
clip and I was just like, excuse me.
I have to say this as the resident TR3 girly. I know it was like a McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes weekend. Everybody was focused on them, and that's fine. However, Daniel Ricciardo was driving like Daniel Ricciardo again this weekend. He finally was doing it. He
Yeah,
was
he likes this
overtaking. He was
track.
doing double overtaking. You can tell he loves this track.
Mhm.
He got literally P8 in Q2. He went. No, wait, that's quali. But he was back this weekend, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then V-Carb, boy, do I have some words. Do I have some words?
FP2 session.
Williams P9.
Woohoo.
Alex.
Did good.
And 12. Logan.
Yippee!
Higher than
Higher than
Oh,
Lance Stroll.
FP2. FP2
And
was
Oscar Piastri.
Joe's spin.
yeah.
They were all spinning.
But
Did
Joe's
I
was
send
like
you the
kind of
TikTok
significant
edit
to
of
the
one of them
session.
spinning?
Was it FP2 or FP3 where Lewis had a spin as well?
I think it was. It might have
wanna
been
say
3
three.
because I think he
Yeah.
spun and then later Yuki crashed and everyone was like,
Okay.
"Ooh," because I think it was the same corner.
Yeah.
Got
I
it.
do.
See.
I love the Nor Versailles. That's the order.
Nor
Yeah,
Versailles.
that's a sleigh top
Because I
3.
normally say
Listen.
Versailles Nor, but no, it's Nor Versailles.
Yeah.
I sound like an Australian in France.
No.
Nor Versailles.
Happy Paris Olympics or whatever.
I guess.
All right. FP3.
FP3.
Yep.
Let's just get it over with. Yuki Tsunoda crashed. It was 68 Gs. Roman Grosjean's big crash, the crash of Roman Grosjean, was 69 Gs.
No, it was 67. It was less.
Yeah. Yuki's was
Oh.
more.
And he got a bruised tailbone and a bruised spine. And they said, let's put him in the car anyways.
Yep. Even though he was clearly limping.
The thing is like I feel like Yuki is sort of like Max in the sense of somebody can tell him, hey, this is gonna hurt you, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna drive anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that his team doesn't care enough to argue. Like, he'll say, okay, I'm racing. They said I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And his team's like, okay.
Yeah, especially because they didn't put out a statement or anything about it. They didn't even
Which
say
is
he was
so
clear.
weird.
It was a
So
journalist
weird.
that was on the track that got the information
That's
and shared it.
insane.
Like,
That VCarb said nothing about it.
yeah.
Because I know Max's big crash. At least Red Bull said Max is fine. He's going to be driving tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's been
Or
cleared.
like next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yep.
crazy.
I don't think I'll ever get those pictures of Yuki leaning over the thing crying out of my head. That was so
Like, the
upsetting.
thing is like, people are like, oh, he's so upset he crashed. I was like, no, I think he's crying in pain.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
probably
I
a bit
mean,
of both.
He was
Yeah.
walking the same way that Carlos was after Vegas, where he was like
Vegas.
kind of limping in a
Mm.
very like specific like lower
And, like,
back way.
Back injuries are so
Ugh.
scary because you could be like, I feel fine. It's just
Mhm.
bruised. And then, like, the next day, like, you lose feeling.
Yeah. I know. I don't know if anyone watched the driver's parade, but Carlos did come up to Yuki and he asked,
said,
like,
"How
how's your
is it?"
back?
Did you
And
see the
Yuki
thing
was
of,
like, "Ugh."
did you see the video of Pierre helping him down off the
Mm.
the
Oh my
truck?
God.
I don't know if it was just him being careful or Yuki literally saying, I can't get down these
Yeah.
steps.
Either way, that means that, Yuki had to vocalize that he was hurting enough for Pierre to
But, like, oh,
help.
Lord,
Like,
it's just, it's so scary that it's not just F1 either. It's every sport, basically.
yeah.
Not
And I
just
think it's-
motorsports either. It's terrifying
Yeah.
that these professional athletes are like, I'm fine. Meanwhile,
have to
they're limping
perform.
away.
Yeah. I think especially for the Red Bull drivers right now, it sucks because they do have a great reserve. They could have called Liam in and said, you know what, you have to do the race, everything.
But
But
they also know that
no one wants to take one race out and
I
be
think-
like, oh, I'm done now. I've
I
lost my
think
seat.
the only person who would is Daniel, because he was the only one that was faster than Liam, Yuki, and Checo in the Silverstone testing. Yuki and Checo were slower than Liam, so those two are the ones who are like, oh god, Liam could replace us within a second.
They weren't in the same car though.
Yeah, I know, but Red Bull doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
They don't- You're telling me Helmut Marko has like critical thinking?
He doesn't know what that is. He went to school
Critical,
before
yes.
that.
Thinking, no.
That man grew up during the Great Depression.
The thing
I
is,
need
though,
you to be
like,
serious.
the thing is, wasn't it Christian Horner the other day who was like, Liam Lawson's never gonna get a Red Bull seat?
He was like, maybe.
He literally went,
Everyone
yeah,
was
that's
like-
never gonna happen, but maybe. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
never and maybe can't be used in the same sentence. What is happening? But I feel bad for Liam Lawson. Like, he's in the wrong team to try to get in.
Put him in a Haas. Put him in a
I was
Haas.
about to say, put him in
Put him in
Oz.
a Haas.
But,
Who cares? That means
anyways,
neither him or Ollie are technically rookies.
real. FP3, moving on from Yuki's crash. McLaren won
Honestly,
2.
Yeah, McLaren won too.
Daniel Ricciardo, P6. I'm telling you, this man was on fire.
Yeah.
And then VCarb screwed him over. Also, who was also on fire was George.
Real.
George, I feel like this entire weekend was driving so well.
Yeah,
With
both the Mercedes were
people.
doing really
Both
well.
Mercedes
which
were
is,
doing so well,
Mhm.
and then their team screwed them over. And everyone's
Mhm.
just talking about George's whole qualifying situation, but nobody
Mercedes
talks
turned
about
Lewis out to dry as well.
yeah. like Mercedes didn't treat Lewis very well this weekend either. Like literally Lewis,
Likely.
well, the race, the whole issue with the race, he's like, I didn't see him, and they go, yeah, we know, that was it.
They're like, well, crazy.
Like,
Okay.
too bad. Next, like
You're supposed to let me know he was there. Like, okay. I think
Yeah.
it's especially crazy that the Mercedes were doing so well because their car works so much better in colder temperatures. That's why they were
which, can we talk about
so
that?
incredible at Silverstone, because it was fucking
Shouldn't you
freezing.
be making a car that works for both hot and cold?
Or honestly, there's more hot races than cold races. If you're
Yeah.
gonna pick one or the other.
Like, hello?
I
I'm concerned.
understand that Mercedes are based in England, right?
I know,
But like, do they know
I get that more than anyone.
I'll one up you. Aston Martin, based in Silverstone, lives in Silverstone, made the car for Qatar this year.
that McLaren's in Woking?
Yeah, which is an awful place. So thanks.
Okay, but it's still the same country, same climate.
I don't know.
But Mercedes
but-
is like, we forgot that Qatar existed. Our bad.
I
car
don't know
doesn't
how
work there.
Williams built their car, man. Car too hot. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Anyways,
They tried to make the car cook and they cooked it a little too much.
They cooked it. It was
They
it was
burnt
burnt. It was burnt.
anyways, FP3, are we done?
Way to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
McLaren 1-2.
Yeah, so quali. You won.
Okay, can I talk about
was saying,
Williams?
would you
Not
like-
Williams. Can I talk about
would you like
Mercedes
to
for a
start?
second? Yes.
Oh, sure.
No, VCarb and Aston Martin. Boy, do I have words for you, but that's for the
Okay,
race.
yeah.
Anyways, Mercedes, what were you doing? What were you doing? You sent George out for one lap with fuel for one lap. One lap for the entire qualifying. Went, oh, I don't know why you got P17. What? And didn't send him out before. They sent him out early, so they went, everyone beat this time, and everyone goes, okay.
I hope that Alexander Rossi was not watching this
The
in the hospital. Because
about
I know
the-
he
about
would have seen the fuel loads
qualifying.
and been like,
K-Mag did not get out, right? No, he did. P15. Does
Yeah.
P15 get out? I can't.
no.
No.
Anyways,
K-Mag and
We
Checo out.
We had a crash.
Like,
wait a minute. Track back. Logan Sargent. He cooked it. He cooked it and he sent it. And
I
he
was
made
getting
it so
there.
well.
I
was
have to
gonna
also
get there.
say both V-Carbs out-qualified and Logan Sargent out-qualified Sergio Perez. Again.
Likely.
George
Many such
Russell.
cases.
I was about to say Logan outqualified at Red Bull and a Mercedes.
That
And the
crash looked
Mercedes.
scary.
Okay, the
to
Mercedes.
me.
The Mercedes was not George Russell's fault though, because
He still
they
outqualified
screwed
at
him
the end of the
over.
day.
He still
However,
outqualified a Mercedes.
Sergio Perez is in the fastest car, and he's expected to match Max, who got P3 and he got P16.
I think it's so funny coming right off the heels of Checo going to that newspaper and being like, I could get P20 every week and it doesn't matter. And Helmut Marko was like, it does
Sharks.
matter. We'll fire his ass.
Sharks. I've put on my Logan thinking cap. Logan.
Put him in the Red Bull. Put him in
Wait.
the Red Bull.
Wait. Let me get there.
Put him in the Mercedes.
He had done an absolute banger of a lap
No, he
Yep.
did.
and then had a really crazy lockup, a little spin, a little bit of contact. Had me shaking in my boots. Shaking in my boots. They had to take that car and I was like, please, team, please fix it. I think I owe Sergio Perez at least a drink.
Oh.
Because his crash, as unfortunate as it may be for him, helped them get Logan's car into Q2.
Yep.
I will give you
Yep.
flowers there, Checo. Thank you.
Was it
Um,
Checo who
If we're
almost
talking
took
about
out
Checo,
K-Mag or something when he spun?
Oh, I
I
don't
don't know if
know.
it was Kate Mag or Nico Hulkenberg, but he
Oh.
took out one of the Haas's,
He like
which is
spun
why I
and
went,
they like
dude,
were
you
like,
had one
"Woo!"
job. You had
So-
one job.
I know. You could have saved us all the whole weekend. Just
Can I
stress-free.
just say, if we're talking about Checo and we're talking about Mercedes, did anybody hear that rumor
Yeah.
about Checo having a meeting with Total Wolf?
Oh my god.
George
Are you
Russell,
talking
I'm
about
so
the
sorry.
account? Are you talking about that account on Twitter?
About
No, there's like an
Mercedes.
actual. They've actually went into Mercedes. There's like a video of it, and journalists are talking about it, and they don't know if it's just he wants to talk to George about something because
Oh yeah,
George.
he ran out of coffee also, just like Bottas did.
Well, the thing is
We're
the
talking about
difference is
Mercedes.
George is the driver representative, so literally anybody going to Mercedes could be
Yeah.
talking to George, but people are like, oh, he's talking to Mercedes because he knows his seat's in trouble. I was like, that would
Total
be
doesn't
so
want you.
funny. Total Wolf, no.
He
He'd rather
doesn't want
put
you.
Kimi Antonelli in there than Sergio
Oh my
Perez.
god. And Kimmy does not want to be there.
Jimmy said,
Kimmy said,
"Stop."
not
But-
yet, please. But also, can I just say, my stream was not working. F1 TV was lagging like absolute hell for me during Q1.
Oof.
And I got the stream back up right as it's GP kind of like talking down Max. And then all I hear is the commentators, and my stream goes back into Paris! And I'm like, what happened to Checo?
And then
Can we,
immediately, calm down, Max. I was like, did Max do something? Did Max hit him?
I have to say it,
There was
everybody.
only
Daniel Ricciardo, P1, baby!
He
P1!
did, yeah. And he said, done for the day.
Which I think is hilarious because the one qualifying sector that he needed to beat was P1 because he knew Checo wasn't Q1
He
because
literally-
he
he
knew
saw
Checo
the-
wasn't gonna get out
Yeah.
of it, and he goes
He saw the
Sign me
TV and
up.
went, say less.
P1,
Put me
baby. I literally was at work and I saw I don't know who texted me and they were like Daniel Ricciardo P1 and I was like, that's my man. He's back. He's back.
He did a really good lap too. It was really clean. Like, despite
He loves
all of
this
the
track.
issues on track.
Literally
Yeah.
any throughout his years from literally Toro Rosso to now, everybody has asked him his favorite track and it's constantly been Hungary. So like this is his track,
Which
even
is
though it's
wild.
not his track, it is his track, if that makes sense.
I hate this track personally.
I love this track
For
because
reasons
I love
y'all
the
know,
chaos.
but I'm not gonna
I am
speak them.
now a supreme fan of this track.
I don't like the way it's shaped. And you know what?
Anyway.
We need a
What does it
Patreon
look like,
so I can
Haley?
say
What does it
why.
look like?
What does it look like?
Anyways, Q2, is that what we're on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as I was saying, there's
Oh.
only 100th of a second between Hulkenberg and Lewis,
Ricardo.
which
That's
is crazy.
I will say, obviously neither Williams got into Q3, but they were so fucking close to each
So
other.
close.
And that is what grinds my fucking gears.
It's like
Everyone
10th
being
of
like-
a second.
Alex Albon, obviously number one driver at Williams, and I'm like, yeah, but not by fucking much. And guess who's had way more time in F1 and has driven for a top team?
Q2. Not that anybody cares. The Aston Martins got through to Q3. Lord knows how, because
I was gonna say I care. I was concerned. I didn't think it was gonna.
can I
happen.
tell you that Fernando Alonso looked at Lance Stroll and goes, boy, this is Ferrari all over again. I'm not doing it. We need to figure it out. Because after qualifying, that's when he had his hissy fit. Hulkenberg out, thank God.
Yeah, I know. I was stressed about that. Between him and Yuki right there, I was like, there's not enough time between them. You're making me nervous.
The thing is Yuki could say my car's still broken.
Yeah.
Yuki could say, my back is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
bad.
broken.
Look at me. Yeah.
Which I
anyway,
think like Yuki was so
Yuki-
mad this weekend. Like the entire weekend after that. And he's like, it's not good enough. I'm not good. And I'm like, dude, first of all, you could have a broken back and you don't even know. Second of all, your car was broken a few
Mhm.
hours ago. Like,
anyway, Yuki into Q3, likely many such cases.
this time his teammate as well.
Mm-hmm. Out qualifying him, which is also a shock.
Basically, all the teams stuck together. Like V-Carb was together, then it was the Aston Martins, and then Ferrari and Hamilton had to be like, let's do it together. And then Max was like, yeah, no, I'm not sticking with my teammate in P57.
He
said, I'm good.
He went, this is
Did
a
you see him
one-man
on the
team.
wall?
He went, this is a one-man team now.
He said, I have a teammate? Since when?
But who? And then
I thought that was an extra car next to me in the garage in case I broke mine. There's someone
at
in
this
that?
point it should be.
He said someone's driving that?
And then
Weird.
McLaren's 1-2.
1-2.
Woo!
1, 2.
Finally.
Yep. Yep.
And it was their
First one since 2012.
first one since 2012, and
With
it's
The
Lewis.
youngest. It's the youngest 1-2
Ever lockout.
ever.
yeah.
That's
which is
crazy.
wild. Yep.
Just
Which,
slightly
like,
older than me. Woo.
To me,
I've got
like,
time, guys.
to me,
I've
Lando's
got a little bit more
Lando's
time.
a few months younger than me, so I'm like, wow, he's the youngest, part of the youngest lockout grid. That's crazy.
I think it's hilarious
It's
that
actually
2 through
really
4
awful for me that
include-
Oscar is only 10 days younger than me, because I'm like, wow, so talented, and I'm like,
Oh,
I don't even
Yeah.
have my license. Yeah,
I got 6 months on him and I don't have my license.
it's very humbling.
all right,
Yeah.
everybody.
But that.
If you're not on Twitter or Tumblr, you might not know this. However, Brad Pitt, do I have some frickin' words for you? So there's Park Femme, which if you don't know what that is, that's like them waiting to get out when the pit lane goes green, right? Aston Martin had the audacity to say, yeah, you can go out by that black and gold car. Fernando went, okay, trusting his team, because that's what the team's supposed to do, is lead them to places that they're
Wasn't
supposed
it
to.
the FIA that called him in? The team
Well,
ran
okay,
out to go and be like, no,
the
no, no, no,
FIA
no.
called them in, but the team went,
Yeah.
okay, you can go out. Like the FIA standing by that car, and they were like, okay. And
Mhm.
Fernando didn't question it, which Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, I get. But Fernando Alonso, you are a 2-time world champion. You should know what cars are on the grid.
You know, he was like squinting. He was like, what the fuck does
going-
that say?
He's going gold, gold, gold,
like,
gold,
who's
Like
like,
that,
gold.
that,
Who's
that,
gold?
was, that was
Who's
Haas in
gold?
like
Max,
2020.
gold, Max. No, like he's. But they put him behind Brad Pitt's car, the fake F1 car,
In
and
fake Parc Fermé. It
and-
wasn't even in the real Parc Fermé.
I don't even, oh my lord. And then afterwards, Fernando Alonso had a hissy fit because of it. Mind you, that's what the journalists are calling it, a hissy fit. Professional sport journalists, everybody. Mind you, he yelled at his strategist for saying, you put me in the wrong line, and threw his helmet, which me too. Having a bad car, getting put into a fake
for
line.
everyone who didn't see this, there's the video of this where George walks past and looks
And then goes,
unbelievably good for no reason at all.
George's face, George, if anything, George is the best meme on the grid, because he's going,
And he goes, wait, it's actually my job to listen to this. I have to come back. He
Yeah,
loops back around.
his job is gossip.
you know what?
Yep.
You know what? He went around because he goes, you know the video where I think it was Carlos next to him, and Carlos says something and he's an interfered and goes,
Yeah,
like, George, this is not George's job, this is George's life.
Yeah.
He goes, talk to me. Tell me the tea right now. I need to know everything. And then he went, oh Lord, this is too much. There's things I can't fix.
Yeah. Fernando was.
He's like, your
yapping,
car,
and
I
he was
can't
like,
fix
gotta
it.
go.
I can't fix it.
No.
especially because he's friends with Fernando as well.
Yeah.
Fernando did pick him to go on the road trip.
Oh,
And
don't. You can hear me in that video. Don't. That's embarrassing. I thought it was quiet. Anyways, that's my the qualifying rant about Aston Martin.
yeah. So the race.
Can I rant before we talk about everything else? About two things. It's also Aston Martin and it's V-carb.
Yeah.
First of all, Aston Martin, if you tell a driver you need to we're giving you this spot, but once we pit your teammate and you have to give it back, and that man says, okay, I'll do it, and then he goes, actually, I'm not going to do it. You need to freaking whack some sense into that man, especially because it's a 0-time race winner versus a 32-time race winner for one singular point. Lance Stroll, I got some words. Lance Stroll, I have some words.
I feel like your bigger
point.
problem is your 32 times race winner is fighting for one singular
Okay,
point.
that's a struggle, but that's a whole other issue. That is a whole other issue. Anyways,
Rosie did not come to play.
No.
Rosie said, the
Anyways,
croissant on my head's making me wild.
anyways, muted. Anyways, Lance Stroll, do I have words for you too? Because your engineer saying Fernando's behind, he just overtook 5 cars to get here. You have to let him through, and you say no? I don't care if this is your team. Anyways,
He's like, what are you gonna tell
V-carb.
my dad?
V-carb. do I have words for you. Because first of all, why are you pitting Daniel Ricciardo 5 laps in for used hard tires? Not new, used.
When everyone started going for
Used.
the pit, I was like,
Used
Nobody
hard
move.
tires and go, you're in traffic for the rest of the race. Sorry.
yeah.
And didn't tell him anything after. That's
Our
it.
bad.
And then your other driver has a bad back. He has a freaking bruised spine and tailbone. And you go, we're going to put you on a one-stop strategy. And you know what? I'm expecting you to do some miracles.
You know what? He did slay that though. Like,
I know. However,
his tires could have still gone for another. They said 10 to 15 laps on those tires when the race ended.
Also, FIA, I have a problem with you because Fernando Alonso barely touched the freaking Alpine, and he got
Also,
2
it's an
penalty
Alpine.
points.
Who cares?
2 penalty points. Max Verstappen goes on top of Lewis Hamilton and goes, there was nothing he could do. Car 44 could have avoided him more. Why does Fernando Alonso breathe and get a penalty? Fernando Alonso, you need a gas mask, apparently, because
also,
you can't
with
freaking
the Lewis
breathe.
and Max thing, Lewis
We can go back to that. I just needed to rant. Now we can talk about
McLaren. Turning
McLaren.
in because they were on a corner.
They're on the apex. I will say, though, I understand.
That is why.
I understand Max literally seconds before said, I have no brakes. I understand it. However, he should have turned.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't have brakes doesn't mean he couldn't turn.
Well, didn't he lock up?
Yeah, but
and that's why he ended up going straight.
Yeah,
instead of turning.
Yeah, anyways.
I mean,
welcome back, 2021.
No, it was. I do think in hindsight it was Max, because if you know that your brakes are shot, then why would you
don't fight someone for the apex?
Yeah, why would you try to fight somebody? But
I was having this conversation with somebody. They were like, would you ever say that Max is a dirty racer, or is that just like reserved for people in the midfield? And I go, no, Max is a dirty racer, and I'll call him out on it. That was a dirty move, knowing you had bad brakes and you fight somebody to overtake them right after you said my brakes are shot, and then you lock up and say he turned into me. When, mind you, any angle you see Lewis going like this and Max going whoop.
Yeah. Also, he didn't pull the same move the lap before on Charles because he knows that Charles would have just killed them both. He was like, Lewis is smart. Lewis will avoid me the best he can. Charles will end both of our bloodlines.
Charles goes avoid? No. I don't know that word.
Max's original demon. Charles does not
I will
play.
also say something about Max. I'll say this race is the radio was very immature. Very immature. He was getting upset that his team couldn't help him with his car because his car was really bad. And all of a sudden, he was turning into like 2019, 2020 Max, who was like, you need to fix this. I'm not going to talk about it. The FIA can go screw themselves and whatever. Like, first of all, that was a live radio. And the fact that your race engineer had to tell you it was childish at his big age is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I kind of wish GP would be meaner to him on the radio like that more.
GP's a gentle parent. He doesn't know what the word mean means.
That's what GP stands for. Gentle parent.
Real.
I think the thing is too with Max with these radios, because I totally get it. He has had a really good car to where he hasn't had to experience so many problems in one race, let alone. So I think, and I totally understand his frustration.
He'll never complain about a Red Bull again.
Like I get his frustrations because he's never
experienced.
He's never experienced it. So like, I get it. I do, because it's frustrating as a driver who didn't have to experience it and who had a really good car. He hasn't had to do what everybody else in the field has had.
Mm-hmm.
So
Blonde, lose your privilege, cry about it.
The thing is though, people are like, oh, he never had to experience this, but he was in a Red Bull before Red Bull was dominant, so he did experience it,
but not for a long time.
Not for a long time,
and it's also coming after his domination period.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I
But
think
I
if he
think-
wasn't so dominant, then it'd be a little bit different, I feel like.
I think
but
it's also, I feel like he started the like season out so strong that he was
Mhm.
expecting a 28-second gap, and like McLaren
I
being so
think
close
he
to him,
was
Mercedes being so
expecting-
close to him throws him off a bit, and I feel like he's like, oh shoot, I have to race again, even though he's like, I'd love to be able to race people, I'm so sick of being in the front alone. Like, I think once it happens, he doesn't know how to race cleanly.
I think he was expecting a 24 race win season for himself, and you know, so far that has really gone down the drain for him. So I mean, he's still significantly leading the championship, so he's not like.
What do you expect when you ignore Adrian Newey's advice?
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
what can you do?
I think this is
radios
why...
were going insane this weekend, by the way.
I think
if we're talking
radios,
about
yes,
radios,
all weekend.
It was so funny.
I think going back to the Max thing and like the racing thing, and this is why I don't think it's a good thing to take drivers out of feeder series. I don't think it's smart to have them skip them. I think Max skipping F2 is very evident. You can see that, like, yes, he has like a built-in natural talent for racing, but he doesn't have the like learned experience of everyone in F2 has the same car. Good luck. You have to learn how to drive. Like, you have to learn how to be a person in this car. And they're all fucking crashing into each other all weekend long, but they're learning. They're experimenting on stuff.
Not everyone can be Charles Leclerc getting drug tested every week in F2.
Exactly. I think that is like very evident, especially the longer he goes with being like dominant and being far away and not really having to race people. It's like, oh, you can tell that he skipped a lot of learning.
I think though, like, it's also the type of racer he is. Like, I feel like, okay, not to bring him up, but Sebastian Vettel said that, I don't even remember, I think it was when he was still in Ferrari, and they were asking about like really young Max, and he's like, I don't want to be racing him. He's dangerous, and he doesn't know when to, you know, give up, you know, in an apex or whatever. And like, I feel like people have seen, a lot of newer fans haven't seen that side of Max because it's just been so dominant, and him being literally like 28 seconds ahead. And even if he's like like, even when he started from the back last year, he got to P1 within 2 laps. Like, I think it's the first time they're seeing Max actually be Max Verstappen, the race car driver, not Max Verstappen, a world champion. And it's like, it's showing, and it's exactly what Seb said. Like, he doesn't know when to back off in an apex. He doesn't care what the rules are. He thinks the rules doesn't apply to him. And I was like, oh, he's matured a little bit. But no, he's just been so far out in front, he's never had to race.
Exactly.
Again, the only person he truly knows how to cleanly race wheel to wheel with is Charles, and because Charles will kill him. He is more scared of Charles than Charles.
I think it's because
him.
Charles also doesn't know when to give up. Sebastian Vettel has also said that, which is not a compliment. That's not a compliment. That's, but also they're going to kill each other.
Charles has raced in F2, so Charles had that learning curve of at least being in the same car as everyone else.
It's why Alex Albon wasn't a good fit for Red Bull, because Red Bull wanted somebody who didn't care about anybody else who was outside of their own car. And Alex Albon's like, I don't want to hit these people just to get out in front. And Red Bull's like, okay, well, goodbye.
Yeah.
And like, that makes Alex Albon a human, not a robot, a human. It makes him a good racer. It makes him a great racer versus Max.
Yeah, I feel like Max is not a well-rounded racer.
I need to put him in like a Haas, a Ferrari, a Williams, a Alpine, even Aston Martin at this point for a season.
Can we please talk about the start?
Yeah.
Who to
I'm
start?
gonna let y'all talk. I'll just serve. I'll be the
rock
moderator.
My world.
Okay, well, Lando had an issue with his car, so that's why his start wasn't great. It was
Yes,
a
I did think that was
shift
concerning
issue.
when they were
Mhm.
doing, because they were doing like the recon laps, and then
Mm.
they were like, "Oh, there's double-sided sticky tape on his car." Yeah,
I will say though, like, even if Lando had no issues, it's
He
been
was starting on
said.
the bad side.
It's
yeah.
been said by literally every single champion, every single like very skilled racer, not just Christian Horner.
you
Christian
want
Horner
to be
doesn't matter.
on
You want to
the-
be P2 or P4 because you're on the inside and you'll get ahead. So I think Lando was at a disadvantage, but I think he probably could have gotten closer to Oscar quicker if he didn't have that throttle issue.
But also,
Also, if Max
Oscar's
didn't
start,
terrorize him, but that's another issue.
Oscar's start was really good.
Yeah.
I
Want to talk
thought.
about good starts?
Oh.
Oh, thank God Williams did something! Alex
got
Albon's
5
start went
places?
from P13 to P9.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
getting
You want to talk about bad starts?
Logan's.
Fernando Alonso. I think it was P7. He went from P7 to P17.
Oop, I think he just beat Logan in that one. We cheer.
All I know is Logan Sargent has passed Fernando Alonso.
I
and
love this song.
Turn it off. I went to his onboard. I literally watched his onboard, and he just, I don't know if he just didn't hit the throttle or whatever. Everyone just went by, and he went. He was so over it. He was like, Fernando Alonso, you've given up.
I was like, you have to finish the race, bud. You can't just like not drive.
At that point I went, Fernando, back it up.
physically
Back it up into
possible.
the
I
pit
feel like
lane.
even I could go faster than that.
Rosie, anybody. A corpse could go faster than Fernando Alonso at the start.
So past him.
Hey.
While Logan did have a bad start, he
did a decent recovery drive.
He did a decent recovery drive until they pit him, and then it all.
You know
went
who
to
did
hell,
a
so-
good recovery drive, which I have to say it because nobody will say it. George Russell went from P17 to P9.
I would have said it.
Wasn't Hulkenberg also up there? I feel like Alex,
Like,
George, and Hulkenberg were just suddenly like 9 places up, and I was like,
I think people weren't paying attention to like the midfield all that much because you know the McLaren absolute circus act that McLaren was having going on. Sorry, but that was so immature of them. But anyways,
65 laps.
Of them, I mean the wall. Anyways, the pit wall. But like I will say, okay, I don't want to say it, but the Haas was really good this weekend. George was fantastic.
Oh my
He
God.
had
Race
the
winner
worst.
Oscar Piastri has entered the chat.
look, she has orange on her. She's a papaya.
Kiwi cat.
Yeah, George did really well, and I think it was obviously overshadowed by immature situations of pit walls and decisions, but the midfield, like, that's what I was watching because I was chosen to be an Aston Martin fan for some reason, so I was watching their onboards and crying my eyes out. Mind you, both Aston Martins were on used soft tires. When I say used, I mean they used them throughout the entirety of qualifying. They went, you know what, that'll be fine. So maybe that's why his start was slow, but
Oscar Pia. I don't want to hear anything else. Oh, that's it. Game over. He was leading. McLaren fucked the pit stop. There was team orders to give the
They fucked
order
more
back.
than just the pit stops.
Yes, the strategy was awful. The radio for I would say this as the resident Oscar fan. The radio for Lando was awful. If they had just told him that they'd fucked it up.
Exactly.
Can I just
Well,
say,
they did. So
as someone, can I just say the only person who's like not a McLaren fan, not really an Oscar or Orlando fan, watching this from the outside, I was like, what kind of strategy is that? Not in the sense of like, oh, what's the pit lane strategy, but I mean like, what is your strategy for guilt tripping this driver whose entire world revolves around this team and saying, I know you'll do the right thing. You can't win a championship by yourself. Like, that's so, like, it just leaves such a gross feeling in my stomach, because like the thing is like, at least when I think it was Mercedes last year when they were like, oh, George, we really messed it up, you need to give the position back to Lewis. I don't know if that was somebody last year did it. It was definitely not McLaren, because I know it wasn't McLaren because I remember it, but I think it was either Mercedes or Ferrari. But like, they at least were like, your teammate's the faster car, like, here's the data, you need to let him by for the better of the team. We'll get more points and we'll get you on the podium too. You'll be just P2. Whereas like McLaren literally was like, Lando, you need to give it back, because you know that's the right thing to do.
So
with no data.
Especially because when Tay.
No.
When we had a similar situation in Qatar during the sprint race, and Oscar was in front, and Lando was getting on the radio and saying, well, I'm quicker, like, why can't we pass? Like, can we swap? And they were like, no, we need you to hold off Max. Right now, you are better at, like, defending against Max, who's in third, so we're going to keep team orders. And Lando didn't get on the radio again, didn't argue, said, okay, and defended against Max. So they didn't give him the information, and then just gaslit and argued against him, instead of just being like, this is what the team has decided, you need to defend against whoever's behind, like, we're gonna do the swap.
And like,
it's better.
They just like didn't do that.
I don't know
and
if
it was wild.
The team or it was somebody on Twitter, but they were like, they should have just said, reminded Lando, your fight is with Max, not with Oscar. Like,
but here's my thing.
It would have been better.
So here's my thing though, because this is kind of what's bothered me since Sunday, and it's gonna forever bother me. I don't care. It's the fact that they said it's okay to race. It is okay to race the papaya car. It is okay to race Oscar. But then they didn't give the chance to race Oscar, because then they fucked up the pit stops, and then they started to gaslight Lando.
I think
Lando.
I think they told Lando it's okay to race when they were closer in time.
Did they tell Oscar that Lando was going to start racing him?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
But which I think I don't.
The thing is they told
Oscar if they didn't tell him that, because if
I was getting
previously they said
flashbacks.
Previously they had said Lando's like, you don't have to worry about Lando, he's not going to race you. To then tell Lando race
it's okay
him,
to race.
And not tell Oscar.
It's like, was anyone on the pit
they were
lying
to
each other
the whole weekend?
I also think it was really. I think it was also very weird to have come onto Lando's radio and say, "Hey, your race is not with your teammate; it's with Max." And then 5 laps later, say, "Hey, you can race Oscar," and then at the end say, "Yeah, we want Oscar P1," which like. I was so happy for Oscar. It was his first race win. Like, great. But then it also took away from Oscar's race win, because he's like, I feel bad because the way I won wasn't the way I wanted to win. Like, literally, he came onto the radio, and before he even celebrated, he was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's so, like, and I think also, like, I think the reason why they didn't tell Lando or Oscar that it was okay to race when Lando was P1 and Oscar was P2 was there was literally like 5-6 laps to go. They didn't want to lose a double podium, and I think McLaren rightfully so knew Oscar was leading the race for literally like 60 laps with 8-second gap in between him and P2. Like, I shouldn't say it's rightfully Oscar's, but at that point, like, without that messed up pit stop, Oscar would have won anyways.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, okay, rightfully so, it is Oscar's. And then Lando got so defensive because instead of saying Oscar led this race 8 seconds in front and for literally the entire race led it, and we messed up the pit stop, they went, yeah, you need to just reestablish the order because you can't win this championship alone. Like,
I think they give
race winner.
with team orders, they've got to be more strict. with the delivery
mean,
of how they say it, because
Mhm.
the entirety, like the
exactly
first
what
time
Rosberg said to
after
Stella.
Lando came out of the pits was at your earliest convenience. That's not
Yeah.
a term that you give to a
Also-
driver who
I mean, Nico
Also,
Rosberg
their
even said it.
system has to be selfish, because
Also-
F1 drivers at the end of the day are all selfish towards themselves.
Yes.
I don't care. You can pull
Unless
out the
you're,
most
like-
kind person. No, they're
No,
always
no,
selfish.
they're all
Well,
To
selfish.
get
unless you're,
into
like,
F1, you
Alpine,
have
all
to be
selfish.
selfish.
I don't mean Pierre and Esteban, but I mean, like, if you're actually Alpine, you're not fighting for points at all. You have 0 points. There's no chance of you winning. And somebody's like, hey, your teammate's wild, somehow really fast this weekend. Let him go. I'd be like, okay.
So here's
But,
the thing, though, too. Here's the thing. They pit Lando first, and this is where
First
they
mistake.
messed up.
First
Yeah.
Okay,
mistake.
so they pit
First
Lando
mistake.
First
first.
of many.
So the minute they pit Lando first, and they knew that he was gonna undercut Oscar,
They
Yeah.
should have said, "Hey."
they should have said
yeah.
that at that point they were pointing at Lando being P1 and winning, and not Oscar, because of how they pit and how they undercut him. Because here's the thing, sorry to you, Rosie, but Oscar, they also said if Oscar, or when Oscar catches you, or if whatever they said, if Oscar catches you, when Oscar
They said
catches you.
if, but also at your earliest
Yeah,
convenience.
But
which
also
is
Oscar
contradictory-
was
talking to each
which
other.
is
Oscar was also
contradictory.
so far, not so far behind, but to a point to where Oscar wouldn't have been able to catch Lando,
But
because what is Lando?
Prior to that, he had an
Hamilton was
8-second
16
gap.
seconds behind.
But was Lando
No
gonna
one was
stop in the
fighting
middle of the
Hamilton.
track, though? Like, that's the thing. Like,
We
they're
had this
they're
discussion
acting like
Because
they
before.
were wanting.
Hamilton was 16 seconds behind. He was P3. If Lando slowed down, he wouldn't have gotten overtaken by Hamilton. That's the issue.
That's not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that Lando was driving as a driver should, but the way that they were talking to him over the radio, they were acting like they wanted him to stop in the middle of the track, let Oscar past him, and then start
keep
going to
driving.
go. That's my whole
Which-
point of this, and that's
and
the whole
then
point a lot of
brings
people
up
are trying to
on the
bring up.
radio. It brings up on the radio. They're always just like, oh, you're pushing the tires too much. You're pushing the tires too much. At the end of the race, you saw the cars and you saw their tires. Oscar's tires, admittedly, so a lot more messed up compared to Lando's. Lando could have pushed more. But that's just not how the cookie crumbled.
This pit wall during Hungary wasn't even a McLaren team pit wall. It was an Oscar pit wall, a Lando pit wall, and then a McLaren pit wall. And
Mhm.
all three weren't communicating. They were guilt tripping a driver, which they should never do. Oscar wasn't getting any information relayed to him. And then McLaren, the higher ups are saying, why the heck are you not letting Oscar go past Lando? Like, I will say it was so messy, but I'm saying that if you undercut a driver, at least say, yeah, sorry, Oscar, we undercut you again. But people are now saying Lando's going to win because these are 7 points he's never going to get back. This is mid-season. He can still get those 7 points back.
I think
it's not
you're
going to be
missing
Oscar.
the point of what people are saying by the 7 points thing is they're saying that Lando has the opportunity to become first in the drivers' championship.
No, yeah, but people.
I'm not missing that,
But-
but he
but
can do
there-
that next week.
But
He could do it the week after.
but
It's not. This
the
race
thing
isn't going to be the
is-
determination.
You can't predict
enough,
that though
right,
at
so
halfway
you're
through the season.
dumb.
It could be. It could be in Abu Dhabi, like at the very end. Max
think
beat
it will be.
Lando.
And
And say it is
Lando.
a 7-point gap. Well then,
that's what people are getting at. If Lando loses it by 7 points,
That's
well,
like,
those 7 points,
that's a
that's what people
future
are getting at.
I mean, Nico Rosberg said it the best. He's like, you got to be more direct, because I mean, if I was Lando, I'd be like, okay, on my earliest convenience is when Oscar's in my mirrors. Like, I agree that it was very, I don't want to say shifty, but very weird of McLaren to not give like a direct order, and then not giving a direct order and then saying like, I know you're going to do the right thing. Think of every Sunday meeting. Think of how you can't win a championship alone. Like, it's just a very gross situation that neither driver should have been put in.
Yeah, I feel like you have a pretty succinct opinion, like, to be honest. I think the way McLaren treated Lando was shitty, though I think the fact that they didn't tell Oscar that they'd given Lando the okay to race him is shitty. I just think the strategy was beyond awful. And, you know, Oscar had a beautiful start, led the Grand Prix, and I will never ever forgive McLaren for overshadowing his first win like that anyway. And no one should ever have to Seb mentioned, do not apologise for winning. Oscar's sprint win last year was overshadowed by Max winning the championship.
Well, McLaren couldn't do anything about that.
No, but like his sprint win was overshadowed by that, and then his first Grand Prix win was overshadowed by this McLaren nonsense.
Moving on from that, I think we should talk about and congratulate Lewis Hamilton on 200 podiums.
Yes. I do really enjoy the fact that Oscar's first win was Lewis's 200th podium. I think that's such a broad experience there. Also, the trophy was so pretty, green and yellow. What a sleigh!
I like Lando's helmet. I think Lando's helmet is the prettiest helmet I've ever seen, literally throughout the entire sport.
I just think white helmets in general kind of slay, to be honest.
He just knows he did the sponsors properly too. Like it wasn't like this ugly, like gorgeous helmet and then this ugly sponsorship on the side. Like it was worked in.
Also, Oscar's team all had OP1 hats.
It was a quiet race from the red cars, maybe the first time in a long time. It was not a quiet race for Pierre Gasly.
Well, I think it was a very quiet race, actually.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Can we talk about how
just tears, silence.
Last time they fixed something on the car, he didn't start, and this time they fixed something on the car again, and he didn't finish.
Maybe they should stop touching the car.
That's what I said. I think they should just stop talking, and they should just stop touching the car. Maybe
attach a side pod to Esteban's car.
Just leave it alone for a couple races.
It took forever to figure out what even happened.
No,
they were just like,
can I just tell you, ESPN did not say Pierre Gasly was retiring. It just the entire race said Gasly in pit.
Nobody did.
Sky Sports didn't.
F1 TV didn't either.
I just got it from Twitter.
Yeah, I found out from Twitter.
Hydraulic leak or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was hydraulic fluid leak.
That apparently is the issue of the cars this year.
Yeah.
Ferraris had it, Alpine's had it like 3 times, but that's likely. Didn't Williams have it once?
Wasn't that the car too hot issue?
No.
Aside from the obvious.
No, that was car too high.
That was just car too hot.
It's just too hot.
No one knows what that
Mercedes had it. I know Ferrari had it, but Ferrari fixed it because it was in a practice. Like maybe we need to figure out why that's happening. Cars, teams.
Yeah, maybe we should figure that out consecutively. You know.
But
someone figure it out and share it with the class because I think everyone needs it.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about pit stops for a second? And
why was everyone so slow?
Everyone was slow. I was about to say. The only person who was fast, shockingly, was Aston Martin's first pit stop with Fernando Alonso. I think it was 2.9. And that was the fastest pit stop. And I was like, guys.
I know, McLaren pulled in and they were like, oh, Lando pit stop 3.2. I was like, oh man.
I think
it's almost like we hold the record.
Alex had a decent pit stop and I said, thank God. Finally.
Williams was actually really good this weekend.
Even Red Bull were hitting like threes and like 3 seconds and stuff. And I'm like, what did you
see that?
Did everybody's primary pit crew go on holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We left early. We forgot about this race, I'm gonna be honest.
Alpine is understandable because they have 3 employees and 2 of them are in the car and the other one is Ryan Reynolds.
Who's at a red carpet, so.
4th, Jack Doohan, but he's locked in the sim.
And Abby Pooling is
locked in the sim.
Abby Pooling's like, I'm sorry, I got trophies to get.
Right, exactly.
Somebody's gotta get up and fucking work.
They also have Mick Schumacher.
Races.
They have Mick Schumacher, but he goes, it's not a WEC weekend, I'm not answering.
Yeah,
I'm not
like,
answering.
I'm on Mercedes payroll this weekend.
Does Max get a 10-place grid penalty next race?
I hope so. I
No,
don't know.
they said
he hasn't served that yet.
No. He hasn't changed his unit yet.
They haven't changed the PU
They're
yet.
probably going to do it at a track they know they're really good at.
Yeah, but I was thinking they want to do it before the summer break.
They're probably
won't do it at
actually going to
Spa.
wait. They're probably going to wait for Coda. Because
No.
that's a track they can
Thank
overtake.
God.
No, but I was thinking.
Not if I'm there.
Haley's going to go, stop!
Do they
No,
want to
'cause
do it
George will
before they
hit
get
me.
their upgrades out the way?
So will Logan. Nobody talked about Logan's radio last year when Logan goes, do I have permission to hit him?
Yes, you do actually.
And I went,
do it.
actually, yes.
Go for it.
I'm wondering why he's not getting a grid penalty for the Hamilton causing an incident, because he did get marked as causing an incident.
I don't know.
Did Kevin do anything?
They said car 44 could avoid it, but they said car 1 caused an incident, which I was like, what?
I think because they said that Lewis could have avoided it, that's probably the reason why. I imagine, like, I wonder if, like, their reasoning is, like, if they saw Lewis not being able to do anything about it, then maybe he gets the penalty, is what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking that's the reasoning. I don't know.
All I have to say is if they were giving Hamilton a penalty, I think the FIA would not exist anymore.
As president of 1681 Nation, that video of Charles congratulating Oscar is very special to me. I have seen every single angle of that dap up and that hug, and it just gets better and better each time. But I also just really enjoy the videos of, like, you know, when they all do the interviews and everyone was walking past Oscar and congratulating him. There's he has like a really big smile on his face when Max pats him on the back and says well done, and like Lewis obviously does, and it's just so special to me.
The Nico Rosberg curse lives on.
Yes, it does. It does.
Apparently, it lives on for anybody but Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
So,
Lewis Hamilton is broken.
You know what?
Likely
I think
story.
that's because
Also, the commentary, because of it is like, oh, he wins in Hungary, but my mind keeps going to, like,
he won in Spa, he wins in Monza.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
I will say I think it's very funny. I know why they put Charles on the poster, because his first one was in Spa. Makes sense. Love it. I will say R.I.P. to Lance Stroll, who also is the third driver on the grid with a Belgian mother, who does not get to be on the Spa poster. Thank you, one. That was.
You know what?
a nice
Maybe Lance Stroll said, I don't want to be on the poster anymore. Because I want to be as far away from the sport as possible.
He said, don't embarrass me.
I'm excited for a little bit of a break. I personally love the Olympics, so I'm excited for
I'm excited for breakdancing.
Spa next, which is exciting because
to tie it back to F1 though, they are thinking about adding F1 to the Olympics in the next few years, which is exciting. So that concludes our wrap up of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're now leading into the final race before the summer break here. So we'll see you next week in Spa, and then we'll have some really fun things coming up for summer break. So see you in Spa.
Bye. Reagan has to be sane because she's gone. Reagan, I love you. Just I hope you're enjoying Foo Fighters.
Can that please be a clip?
I hope she's enjoying Foo Fighters.
I hope Jason's enjoying Foo Fighters. No offense to Reagan.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
Oh
yeah,
my
I don't care
God.
how Reagan's doing right now. I care if Jason's having a good time.
I think
time out. We got a Jason update.
Jason! Sorry, Reagan. It's all about Jason.
The way that Reagan's gonna edit this and she has to go, we got. I really hope she keeps this in for like the bloopers at the end. And she like makes a little subscript of like, Jason had a great time.
Yeah.
I hope Jason had a great time.
I want her to put in a picture of Jason and his fun outfit at the Foo Fighters.
What was matching? His little wrist bracelet with the shirt?
Yep. Sandwich mode. He did that with the outfit. He got
Sandwich mode.
He did it. I don't know
Okay.
what shoes he wore.